How y'all doing? Daniel Gaines here. Wasn't gonna do a video today. Actually had zero intent to. I'm actually just finishing up a few minutes ago from weed eating around my house and everything, cutting my grass and all that shit. So after getting off work, that's what I came home and did. So I had no intentions of it until Juliette or one of her friends or whoever the fuck it is using that Matt person handle decided to comment on one of my videos talking about, do I even know how to file at the federal level, blah blah blah. So I'll go ahead and go over some of my response that I put, but I didn't fully respond because, well, instead of typing up a fucking book, it'd be easier just to call you out like this. So that's what I'll do. I'll respond to you like this. Again, pardon the mess, but like I said, cutting my grass and all this bullshit. Shit happens. Oh well. But anyway, I digress. See, one thing you will notice, because a lot of the court hearings are already on the channel, one thing you'll notice is I cite a lot of shit. Say a lot of stuff. A lot of laws, case law, all of it. Not once, not one fucking time has any of them been able to tell me I'm wrong. They might ignore it. They might say they can't enforce those laws in civil court because they're criminal, which is bullshit. They're actually supposed to, but the federal courts will address that, no worries. They might engage in fraud upon the court by changing the record of my filing to make it about something that's not even in my filings, simply to avoid the legal issues and questions at hand. They can say it's my position, all of that. One thing you'll notice they won't tell me is that I'm wrong. Even when they ask that you don't record and I tell them I've recorded it, they don't do shit about it, do they? They don't fucking threaten contempt. They don't put out a warrant for my arrest. They don't say a fucking word to me, do they? Judge Johnson, during the trial, as you know, Juliette, straight up said, even if I am recording, he doesn't have the authority to stop me. But yet I don't know what I'm doing. Now, see, I don't give a fuck about Washington's rules and procedures. Not one fucking bit about the state of Washington's rules and procedures. I've never fucking spent a minute's worth of time reading or learning about any of them. I'll admit it straight up. What's the fucking point? It don't apply to me. They don't have jurisdiction over me. Now, you want to talk about Missouri's rules and procedures and how to file in Missouri and everything? Let's get into that one. Let's have that discussion. You can damn near cite the fucking rule and procedure book for the state of Missouri back to you from heart. Not fully, but the most important parts, oh, believe I can. Like I cite everything else from the top of my fucking head without notes for the most part. Not everything, but a lot of stuff is all from fucking memory. Very seldom do I actually look at my notes or my file folders, my case files, case law and all that shit in it. So I don't use this shit because I don't need to. Not because I don't have it. Now, as far as the state of Washington, why waste my time? I got other things to deal with and do. See, y'all can get hung up on Washington shit all you want. Good. Do that. Y'all focus on Washington law. Meanwhile, I'm focused on my fucking protected rights, constitutionally protected rights. I'm focused on the violations of federal law and the multiple violations of state law in the state of Washington. See, I may not know Washington rules and procedures, but I know the laws in the state. Best believe that. Better than most of those fucking punk-ass attorneys who have touched any of anything to do with me. And I'll challenge them on that. We can do it publicly. I won't embarrass them much, I promise. Well, some of them. Downing, I'm gonna end that motherfucker's career. But anyway, I digress again. So, while you guys are worried about what's going on in the state, I'm not. I'm worried about the long game and the end of this, because I already know what the state's going to do. My videos I've already called it. I called the shit. I said before the hearings what was going to happen and how it was going to go down. Specifically. I mean, with detail. Your bullshit restraining order, for example. I said restraining orders are going to get thrown out, void orders were going to get ignored, and they wasn't going to touch the fucking the criminal violations. They weren't going to touch it. What happened? Exactly what the fuck I said. Same with child support. Exactly one of the three possibilities I said could happen. I even said one of them was extremely unlikely because that was the courts actually addressing this sua sponte and following and complying with the law, which we already knew they weren't going to do. Also did it quorum non judice, but that's a whole nother ballgame, whole nother story, again, for the federal courts. See, now, instead of worrying about Washington rules and procedures, for the last, I said year in the message, but it's actually been, 18 months now? From the start, I've been looking into the federal side of things. I was actually going to do the federal removal. But then, the time I was going to do it, I wouldn't have been able to for the dependency in that. But now, oh no, there's more than sufficient reason. I could have actually done the federal removal before the end of the dependency, before the dependency was dismissed and everything else. And it would have got heard. Now, for the last 18 months, I've been learning about the federal system. How to file, how to serve, what all has to be done, the steps of the way, the stages of everything of the procedure, all of it. All of it. Plus, I have an attorney that I pay. He's not dealing with the case for me. Not at all. I'll do that. But he's got over 20 years experience at the federal level. Multiple districts, not just here in Missouri. Multiple districts. Fairly impressive legal record. And he is going to be used just to ensure that I have everything done right. He's not my attorney. I am only going to pay for consultations from him for legal advice to ensure that everything is done correctly. That way it doesn't get dismissed. And see, I can tell you how this is going to go as well. Since you're so interested in what I do and don't know, Juliette, how about this? Let me light my cigarette because I'm talking, not smoking. Don't smoke, folks. It's stupid and it's bad for you. It'll kill you. Anyway, what's going to happen at the federal court is everybody's going to shit their pants when they get served, up to and including Juliette, because they don't think it's coming. So when they all get served, they're going to shit. The attorneys and everybody else are instantly going to run out and get an attorney. The judges are all going to jump out and get an attorney. And one of the first things the judges and commissioners are all going to do is claim 11th Amendment judicial immunity. Therefore, I can't sue them, blah, blah, blah. It needs to be thrown out. However, that'll be covered, more than covered in my filing. And then their motions will get a response. That'll be mostly case law. As well as with some documented proof of their conduct to show that judges who act outside their jurisdiction, judges who fail to comply with the law and follow the law, judges who are guilty of criminal conduct have no 11th Amendment protections. Supreme Court's ruled on this and upheld it many, many times. I'm not special. They're not going to overturn all that case law and standing for me. And we all know this. So, judges and commissioners' motion to dismiss, or at least to have them taken off the case, will be tossed because they all know I can prove that they acted outside the law, which means they have zero immunity protections at all. Then, at the same time, the state of Washington is going to file its motion to dismiss or to try and get it sent back to the state, to which I'll have already covered it in my filing, but I'll again respond, and with my motion, I'll show where I've exhausted every possible venue I can related to these matters to try and get the relief. I cannot file in the custody courts because Faith will be 18 this month. So that'll get dismissed and kicked instantly because she's aged out. Child support refuses to address their criminality and criminal conduct and violations of my rights. The dependency courts engaged in a host of crimes up to and including multiple members of the judiciary engaging in fraud upon the court. Intentional and malicious fraud upon the court, I may add. Especially with fucking Alicia Bennett. I mean, Terry Farmer's worse, but Alicia Bennett, that was just stupid on her part. Let's be real. So whenever they file for their motion to dismiss, I'll counter that. The state's motion to dismiss will get denied as well, which means it'll then move to discovery phase. And that's when I see the state deciding that, well, if this goes to discovery, we're fucked, so we have to settle now. And they're going to attempt to come at me with a settlement agreement at that point to prevent it from ever going to discovery. To which I'll reject their offer, and it will proceed to discovery phase. During discovery phase, Jarrell Sanders, Miles Russell, Carolyn Merling, Kate Orlando, Miles Russell, if I didn't already say him, Juliette, let's see, Stephen Downing, and a bunch of others. Actually, there's 17 in total, guaranteed to sit for a sworn deposition. So that's 17 sworn depositions I'm going to have to do. And then, if the courts allow it, because this will actually be getting the judges, they shouldn't deny the request because the judges acted outside the law and they'll already have determined that. So their immunities don't apply. So therefore, I should be able to make the judges and commissioners sit for sworn depositions as well. And there's a minimum of 4 of them. One of them's not Pierce County, though. One of them's the Mason County clown. He's going to sit for a deposition as well because he's included too. So is Mason County. So there's at least 21 sworn depositions that are going to be done by me. And I can tell you now, the longest one will be Juliette. Her sworn deposition will take far and away longer than any other one because I'm going to cover everything in the questions for her. She is going to catch herself up in so many fucking lies. It's going to be comical. Literally. And then, once all the sworn depositions and everything else are done, it'll all get filed with the courts and yada, yada, yada. And then that's when the state's going to make a serious settlement offer. Because the first one's going to be bullshit, hoping I'm stupid enough to fucking take because all I want's money, when it's not about money. And, well, my response to their first settlement attempt will explain in detail what it's about. Because it's not about the money at all. And again, my response will prove that. I don't care what people think now. I'm not stupid enough to put that information out there yet. This is going to the courts. So then when they come with the second settlement offer, it's going to be a lot more difficult for me to justify refusing. However, if I think I can successfully, I will. And it'll go to trial. And then the state of Washington's fucked. Because if the federal courts find that the members of the judiciary acted outside the law and without jurisdiction and everything else, well, see, then that's whenever my filing where it'll also touch upon the criminal side of things. Instead of just 42 USC, it'll be 18 mentioned as well. Because then that means if the courts find them guilty on the civil side, they have to be guilty criminally as well. And then that's whenever I can start pushing for these investigations to start. And I can do it with the federal agencies and everything else because I'll have a document from a federal court saying that they're guilty. But it's a long shot because it's judges that a real investigation will be done over all of them. A couple, yes, it'll be a given. likely to end up in some serious trouble at the federal courts anyway. Farmer, Bennett, Johnson, specifically. But that aside, after there's a finding of guilt by these people from the federal courts, I'm not suing them individually or as private citizens. I'm suing them all in their official capacity under color of law, okay? For violations, deprivations of right and conspiracy against rights, all done under color of law. So there's a difference there on how that goes. So upon a finding of guilt, that's whenever everybody involved, including Juliette herself, can be sued on the civil side individually. And then that's when that'll start. Juliette, her dad and Melissa Roth are also two other sworn depositions. Melissa Roth won't have a lawsuit individually, but Juliette and her dad will. And then every actor involved, from Jarrell Sanders, the Miles Russell, to the slander and libel from Ephraim Benjamin, or whatever the fuck his name is, to Stephen Downing for his criminal conduct, fraud upon the court, multiple counts of perjury, as well as the other several laws I can cite for him. All of them are going to be sued individually. So the state's going to pay out the ass for their conduct or settle, one of the two, and then they're all going to be sued individually. Now, what should happen is, upon a finding of guilt, the state should pull the law license of everybody involved who has one. The state should suspend, pending an investigation, everybody at DCYF. Child support is likely going to be reviewed at the federal level by an agency for their criminal conduct. Same way with the state's cash for kids with their foster program and everything else, since they want to act violating due process without jurisdiction, without cause and evidence and everything else. And even admit on the record that a parent is being forced into a dependency, Judge Johnson. So, with everything as it is, there's going to be a lot of issues for the state. And then to cap it off, I'm going to make all the filings and everything public. Whether the courts say I can or not, I'm going to. All the sworn depositions, all of them, are going to be released publicly. It's actually going to be included in any settlement I agree to, that I get to release it all. Either way, the filing itself that opens the door for all of this is public record. Cannot stop that from being displayed or disseminated publicly. And I'm going to disseminate that motherfucker to everybody I know with any kind of fucking reach at all. And I'm going to have it pushed hard. Because what the state of Washington fails to realize is, not only is this going to have rippling ramifications in the state, hundreds of thousands of men in the state of Washington are going to have the door open for them for a lawsuit against the state, but then other men in other states will be able to use the same thing, because similar violations will apply to them as well, specifically the due process. So this is going to have an impact. My aim is to cripple the state of Washington. They've tried their best to kill me. I'm just made of more durable material than some. And, well, I've channeled my pain, hurt, anger, and everything else into an education to try and bring change to prevent others from feeling like I've been forced to feel. So that's what keeps me going a lot, is to make sure that, to know that this can't happen to others. Then I can die peacefully. Otherwise, y'all motherfuckers are getting haunted. Laughing but serious. I mean, yeah, I'm dead serious. If I die before I achieve my goals, y'all getting fucking haunted if I can help it. Anyway, all joking aside, because mostly that's really what that is a joke. It's about holding people accountable, because that's what needs to be done. So, it comes down to a few simple facts. Let's be real here, Juliette. Like I've said, not once has anybody been able to tell me I'm wrong. In fact, Juliette, I challenge you. Have faith help you. Have your daddy help you. Have your fucking lawyer help you. Both of them motherfucking criminal bastards. Have them both help you. Find one instance on a record of a judge telling me I'm wrong. Because see, the ex parte communication, a judge can tell them I'm wrong all they want. The attorneys can say I'm wrong all they want. But it comes down to, they know that that's bullshit and I'm right. That's why they won't tell me on the record where it matters that I'm wrong. Not that they won't, it's that they can't. So again, I challenge you fucks. Find one instance, just one, where they tell me I'm wrong. And they use those words. Mr. Gaines, the way you're trying to apply that law or using that case law is incorrect and it's wrong. It's not the right way. It doesn't apply. Anything like that. Find one example of me being wrong. I'll wait. I'll be waiting a long fucking time, but I'll wait. Now, another thing for you, Juliette. See, from the start of this, I've been posting this shit on YouTube. I've called out you. I've called out your daddy. I've called out a bunch of attorneys and judges. Called out DCYF employees who make a 6-figure fucking salary annually. Literally everybody I'm dealing with except you. You're the lone exception. Everybody else has a higher annual income than I do. Everybody involved but you. You're the only one that makes less a year than I do. Everybody else makes more. I'll be the first to admit, I can't afford 10, 15 grand for an attorney. That's why I'm doing this federal action on my own. Well, one, I know that I can argue it better than the attorneys because I know all the facts and all the details, and it's actually my life, not an attorney's. So, whereas they don't have a vested interest, it's just monetary, mine's vested. So I'll always be better suited to argue my own case for that reason. But it comes down to, I don't have 25, 50 grand to be able to give an attorney for a federal lawsuit. So, hell, I don't have 10, 15 grand to deal with the matter in the state. That's why I do it on my own. Plus, I'm smarter than the attorneys at the state level for the most part anyway. And a lot of the federal attorneys. At least in this area. Not all areas, but when it comes to family law and protected rights and shit like that related to family, parental rights and such, that, yes. That and only that. But still, I'm calling out all these people, some of them who's got money, and I'm calling them criminals. I'm calling them corrupt. I'm saying I'm going to do my best to do anything I can to get at them for their conduct against me. Through the courts and everything, of course. I'm going to sue the hell out of them. I don't care if it bankrupts them, leaves them homeless, whatever the case is. I don't give a fuck. Anybody who has an obligation to be honest or ethical, I will be pushing from that angle as well because I want full accountability. So that means medical license, law license, all of that I'm gunning for. Because fair is fair. And all things fair and equal under the law means I'm entitled to. So that's what I'm doing, right? So, having said that, if I'm so wrong and I can't prove what I say, and I'm wrong about all this, and you're so right, and everybody else is so right, and I'm just bitter and blah, 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 why the fuck hasn't nobody filed a libel or slander lawsuit against me? Why the fuck is nobody coming after me for all the shit I'm saying about them? James Meredith Noel, specifically. Juliette, you know damn well your daddy don't fucking like me. Why the fuck isn't that bitch-ass motherfucker coming after me then? We both know he's got more money. Hell, all three of us, him included, know he's got more money than I do. The motherfucker makes 7, 8-figure salary a year. I don't make that. I don't even make 6 figures. Why ain't your daddy trying to come after me for the libel or slander and such? If I'm so wrong and can't prove anything and don't know anything. Anybody else who watches these videos find that to be comical? That I'm so fucking wrong, but yet none of these people I'm slandering for being, because wrong, if I'm wrong, that means it's slander. Look up the legal definition of slander and libel, so you should know both, because there is a distinction and a difference. One's verbal, one's written. So know those. So if I'm wrong, that means everybody I'm talking about, I'm slandering. It's on YouTube. I make it public on my Facebook page. I make it public. Why is nobody filing anything in the courts? Why ain't I been served a single fucking slander lawsuit or a libel lawsuit yet from anybody? All these people got the fucking money to file. They can all afford to file it. I'm gonna be the one that can't afford the attorney on that one. I'm gonna be the one that's stuck having to deal with this by myself, pro se, while y'all got a high-priced fucking attorney helping you. Why don't y'all come at me if I'm so wrong? Oh man, stupid little grin and giggle. I know. It's just comical because they won't come at me because they know they're fucked if they do, because they know I'm right and they know I can prove every fucking bit of what I say. That's where I know the state's gonna come at me with a settlement, and it's likely to be one of those things. The state, it's a very off chance. You're talking like literally like 1 in a trillion, maybe more. But the state's well aware of what I can prove. At least the judges and stuff involved are well aware, very well aware of what I can prove. They know they're all fucked and I got them all by the short hairs. It's possible when everybody gets served and old Bobby Ferguson has to go start asking people about what the fuck's going on. Like I said, 1 in a trillion or better odds, but there is always that slim chance they don't even file the motion to dismiss. They just straight up offer a fucking agreement. That wouldn't be surprising. I wouldn't let it fly, but it wouldn't be surprising either because they know. So I guess really it's going to come down to this, Juliette. Whoever the fucking Matt person is. Like I said, it's Juliette or one of her fucking friends. It comes down to this. You're going to find out very fucking soon if I know how to file at the federal level. You're going to find out very fucking soon if this filing is good or not. If the service is proper or not. You're going to find out very fucking soon just how much I know and just how wrong I am. You're going to find out very fucking soon just how much trouble you should have got in a long time ago, and it would have prevented you from getting a much longer prison sentence. You're also going to find out, everybody involved, what it's like to be on the receiving end of the same fucking bullshit you try to subject me to. Only in this case, there will actually be evidence to support the outcome. Due process will actually be followed and complied with. Y'all's rights to be notified and everything will be upheld by me to the fullest extent. Because y'all are Americans. Y'all have the same rights I do. Again, I ain't special. I just want the law followed and complied with. And now, to the fullest extent. And if that means Juliette has to go to prison for 20, 30 years, not gonna happen. But realistically, evidence tampering, witness tampering, perjury, fraud upon the court, defrauding the state, the deprivation of the custodial interference, parental kidnapping, abduction, child abduction, and everything else combined. Depends on how they sentence her. If they run it consecutive or concurrent, that's going to be the thing that determines the amount of time. Not if she's going to get in trouble criminally at the federal courts on a civil lawsuit, but the amount of time that it's going to translate into. So, I mean, custodial interference alone is a Class A felony. Fraud upon the court is a state and federal felony. Evidence tampering is a felony. Falsifying court documents like her emails and other evidence she's used is a felony. I mean, there's multiple felonies that she's looking at, and this is all going to be filed and served upon her before she goes to trial for this attempted kidnapping. So, I mean, prosecuting attorney's office is getting sued by me as well. So, the prosecuting attorney's office is going to have all the times that she's guilty of perjury and all these other criminal acts as they relate to court proceedings and court matters and everything else. They then have a strong argument to use that anything she says cannot be trusted, taken as fact, or anything else. They cannot trust the veracity of her comments or filings or anything else. And then they can't even trust the word of her attorneys because they're both going to be proven guilty of criminal conduct in the end. But because the allegations are made, it brings doubt upon them. What happens then in the courts? It's reasonable doubt. So there's a lot of implications. And it's all going to be soon. Real soon. Sooner than you think, in fact. Stay tuned. This is going to get interesting. Like I said, we're just now actually getting to it. I already knew the bullshit games the state was going to play. Same fucking bullshit they always play. Federal level, whole different beast, whole different ball game. These judges, they actually follow and comply with the law. They actually protect your rights. And they don't take too kindly whenever it's not done. Y'all should look at a recent fucking federal court decision from West Virginia or somewhere around there, where a father and daughter were awarded $5.3 million for 3% of what I can prove. Go check into it. Not me saying this. This is what actually happened with the federal courts. I didn't file that. Nothing to do with me. But I can prove it's only about 3% of what's happened in my case. Take that as you will. And it also, the length of time was under a year. We're talking 17 years in my case. Again, take that as you will. Y'all have a good one. Peace.